Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
What's going on, MS Champion Radio? This is Chris Carter, the MS Warrior, the MS Champion. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's just get right into today's topic. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So, I just want to talk about kind of losing faith. And I'm I I know I'm really big on keeping the faith and being sure that we can come out of not the sensitive, I almost got ready to say it wrong, the sadness. But lately, this disease has really been taking over my body, and it's hard for me to get through the day. And I've really started to lose faith, and luckily today's been a good day for me. I'm still fatigued, still not feeling good, still in a lot of pain, but it's been, you know, better than the past few weeks. And so when I sit here and I think, what more can happen? What more is this disease is it going to do to my little 22, almost 23-year-old body, you know? And that always plays in the back of my mind. And one thing that I remember is, I spoke about this time and time again, but I'm serious when I say it. I have my music and I have my ability to write my poetry. So that's what I turn to. Because, everyone has their own lives, and they can't always be there for me, though they're always there for me. But, when you need them right then and there, they can't always, be there. So you have to find an outlet, and that's what I do. Writing has always been my outlet. And I've never, like I stated before, I've never had to struggle in my life. My mom made sure that I had a great life. My grandmother made sure she had a great life. So we're very blessed. But, I'm human. I get sad about certain things that bother me, I write. So that's one thing I'm glad I have, and I'm going to continue writing. And I need to write more and more and more, and pray more and more and more, because lately I've been forgetting to pray for myself. And that's not something that I'm used to doing. And I need to start doing it more and more again. And going back to what I just said, what more can my 22-year-old body go through? And it got so bad to the point I couldn't even fold my clothes because I didn't have any energy. I was in so much pain, the numbing, the tingling. My arm wasn't acting right, when you have MS, sometimes your brain doesn't tell the right part of your body to do a certain thing. You're supposed to grab something, and you might not be able to grab it because of the nerve damage. So that was playing a big part. And I I'm just very tired, at this point, because being in pain, not being able to make it through my classes, not being able to sit down and complete a project, it's starting to become scary, because, like I said, I have a dream, and I want to be able to achieve that dream. And I can't even stand for such a long time. When I've been going for a walk, I have to take a breath, keep going, or, I have to make sure I can find somewhere to sit down for a second. I don't like doing that. It's slowly becoming the norm for me. Well, this disease has become the norm for me, but it's still an overall adjustment, because I, you know, I just want, I know I will be okay, because I can make it, and I stand by this. This disease is the worst thing that happened to me, but it's the best thing that happened to me. I've met some amazing people through social media because of this illness, and the love that it's bringing me, the light that it's showing me, and everything that's been going on, and the way that it's making me go harder in life. But, you know, physically, emotionally, it's so draining. And lately I've been losing my faith because I don't want to fall victim to this disease. I said this in the last segment, but it's just been hurting me and hurting my body. And I'm like, and one thing, I'm going to be honest, because I'm here to be raw and uncut. That's all what I always want to be. When people tell me don't lose faith, I understand that. But sometimes I had to tell my auntie, and she understood. My aunt, she when I said, these are real words. It's easier said than done when you say, when you tell someone, it'll get better. And I told her, I was like, she was like, you have to believe it. And I told her, I was like, I understand, but that's easier said than done. She was like, I know, I understand, and because and that's one thing, you know, I love that when people tell me that, because that always makes me feel I can keep going. But, to tell yourself that sometimes, and you MS warriors and champions know, if you have it, I guarantee you, you guys know sometimes it's just easier said than being done. And you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and when you're trying and your body is saying no to everything. I couldn't I'm trying to walk, but it hurts so bad. I was limping. My body is saying no. I'm sitting in a stool, but my bottom is hurting so badly, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And I can't stand. I can't really sit. I just need to go home. I have to get in the bed, and I just want to sleep. And then, speaking of sleep, I haven't really gotten any good sleep because I can't sleep through the pain. The pain doesn't let me sleep. And then I force myself to go to sleep. I sit there with my eyes closed, force myself to sleep. Then I'm woken up by the pain. So this disease, I'll almost have 1 year of being diagnosed next month. And this is all new to me. So it's taking some time. It's a big adjustment, especially for me. Like I said, I've stopped partying. I had stopped doing all of that stuff. But, I'm just used to working. I'm just used to doing certain things. I loved walking. Walking was my thing. I could walk from here all the way to, I promise you, probably far before I was diagnosed and before I was having these symptoms. But now it hurts to stand for so long. I can barely walk to the Target without saying, oh my gosh, this is not going to work. The other day, I was walking to the Target, and I was telling myself, this is not going to work. I was on the phone with my friend, and I was saying, this is not going to work. This is not going to work because I'm not going to make it to this Target. But something in my heart told me, push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. I went, but I had to sit down by this little water fountain, and I sat there for about a good 10 minutes. Then I went in Target, got well, it doesn't matter, but I don't remember if I got anything. But saying all that to say is that showed me right there I do have the strength, but again, I feel like I've been losing my faith, and I need to find something to regain it. And I've been going to church for the past 3 weeks, and I'm so excited to go back. This is going to be my 4th week going this weekend, this Sunday, and I love it so much because that's what's been keeping my faith. Soon as I step foot in that room, it makes me feel so good. I feel so relieved. And when at that church that I go to, when I stand up, it hurts very badly, but I don't care. And last weekend it was very hard for me to stand up through each song. They sing 3 songs, and it was hurting me so bad, but I kept telling myself, no, I'm doing this for myself, and I'm doing this for God. I want to show God, you gave me this. I'm one of your many children that you have on this earth. You gave me this illness, Oh, well, excuse me. I don't want to say God gave me this illness, but I have this illness. God, I'm going to show you that I can get through this. And that's what I have to start remembering, and I have to start calling on God, because when I don't want to lose my faith to the point where I'm going to be in the bed forever, and I'm just going to have, all I'm going to have is just myself in the bed and my disease. I want to explore the world. I want to do so many things. So, you know, I have to really get into, I've been listening to my music deeply, but I'm gonna continue to listen to it deeply. But I have to get back and excuse me, I keep saying get back. But I'm gonna be writing more and more and more, going to church. I have something else I want to talk about in the next segment that's really gonna make me feel good. I'm gonna do that for myself, and I'm also going to film it on my YouTube channel. So, and I'm going to give you that as well at the end, as I always do. So, it's just been rough, and lately my emotions have been to the roof. I've never been a crier, and it takes a lot for me to cry. I mean, a whole lot, But lately, I just been thinking about this illness in my body. I've been in so much pain, and I've been wanting to cry, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I just don't. It's just not easy trying to be strong all the time. It's not. And when sometimes when you're not used to showing emotion in front of certain people, that can take a toll on you. And that's a problem that I have. I'm going to say it. I'm not used to showing emotion in front of my mother. The other day when I was home and I was not feeling good, and all she did, she asked me to pass her something, and I did, and it hurt like crazy. And in that moment, and then I started hurting even more, even more, even more. Not because I handed her something, just because my body, I have multiple sclerosis, so that's what it does. I wanted to cry so badly, but I held it back, and I know that's not good. So that's one thing I'm like, I've never been this emotional. Excuse me, I am an emotional guy, because if you read my poetry, I'm very emotional, very sensitive. Certain things touch my heart, and sensitive in a good way, and certain things will touch my heart, but not to the point where it can make me cry. But so that's another big adjustment I'm really getting having to get used to, is being sad sometimes. And it's been a lot of the times for the past month, because of this pain and this illness that I'm just battling with, going to the doctor so often, going to the emergency room, the hospital, and thinking back of the times when I can't do this, and knowing that I still can't do it. It hurts, not and just simple things, not being able to fold my own clothes after I did my laundry. And like I said, I'm here to be raw and uncut. I had to leave my laundry. Had I told my mom, I'm pretty sure if I asked her, she would have folded my clothes for me. But I'm a Taurus and kind of stubborn. But I left those clothes in there for a week. Just been getting my clean clothes out of the basket, putting them on, when it's time to take off my clothes, put my pajamas on or something. I put the other clothes in my other hamper, those clothes in the hamper, and that's a problem too. It hurts to take off my clothes sometimes, so it's really a struggle, So I have to find my way in keeping my faith, and not to lose it any more than I already have. I have to make sure that I call on God, and I call the strength that I know that I have, you know. And another thing too, realizing, like I said in the beginning, I'm human. That's what I am. I'm going to feel emotions. I'm going to feel certain things. You know, certain movies never used to make me cry. Been it's only one movie that's ever made me cry, and that's my favorite, number one favorite movie. Well, I have a lot of number one favorite movies, but this movie made me cry the very first time I saw it. And I would never forget. I think it was in 2008. Yep. I was 13 when I saw this. I was with my grandmother. We were watching Steel Magnolias, and that instantly became one of my favorites when I saw that. And actually, no. Yes, 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 yes. I was going to say, no, it was before 2008, but no. That's when I saw it. I'll never forget that. And when I think of that movie, it always brings a certain emotion to me. And I know once it gets to that funeral scene, it will bring tears to my eyes. And so, but certain things I've been watching on TV that are sad, I'm like, why do I feel myself about to cry? Why am I getting really emotional? And things touch you as a human being, like songs and movies, things touch you. But like I said, I've never been a crier. So this is something to get adjusted to. And when, I think about, I want to, I'm just blessed to have the people that I have in my life because I know it can be a lot for someone. I don't ever want to put that on someone, as I've stated before, time and time again. So I can only imagine how much faith someone who's lost, if someone if a person who's battling MS has lost someone because they can't deal with it. It's a lot. There's symptoms that they go through. The we're all not from excuse me, speaking for myself, I was about to say I'm always complaining, I complain to myself most of the time, but sometimes, when my friend will text me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't feel good, this, that, and the third. So when that happens, someone can walk away from the situation and they won't understand and understand what you're going through, and it just can be a lot for them, and they're human as well. So that I can only imagine what they go through emotionally because they feel like someone who they really could trust to listen and know that will be there is not there. Losing that kind of faith, that is just an oh my goodness kind of thing. So you know I'm here to tell you guys, we're human. We can lose faith. It's going to happen. But remember, we have to find it. And that's what I'm telling myself as I'm speaking. We have to find it back. I have to find a way to find it back because I don't want to. I've always been a firm believer in my faith, and it really started. I don't. For this is a story I would put on my YouTube, and I think I've spoken about it. I've actually spoken about it on a video on my YouTube. Again, I'm gonna say that name at the end. But yes, when I was 16 years old, that's when I really had to call on God and really starting to hold on to my faith. And now I've have to even hold tighter to my faith because of this illness. This illness is not a joke. This illness is something that we have to carry in our systems for the rest of our lives. So this past month has not been an easy one for my body, and my neurologist always says, you're on one of the most effective um, treatments, and I understand that, and I will forever understand that, and I'm forever blessed to be getting treatment, but I still have the disease. Symptoms come along with this disease. I'm pretty sure other people who are on Tysabri still feel the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, you know. And the other day, I talked about this before about being afraid of medicines. I don't want to keep bringing up old segment stories, but I'm gonna say this really quickly. I I I thought about that, and it made me really emotional when I get ready to say about that brain damage we can get. And like I said, at first it bothered me, then I got over it, but it started to really kick in one day. I'm like, if I'm on this medicine for this long, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know. But I had to pour myself out of it. Have to. And the other day when I was in class, I like putting on a smile when you don't feel good. That I commend us MS warriors for doing that because it's not easy. The other day in my art class, I wanted to burst into so many tears because I wanted to go home, and that class is almost, excuse me, not almost, it's 2.5 hours long. So imagine if I can't make it through an hour class. Imagine how that one does for me. And I chose it. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I knew, I know what's going to come with it, but it's a struggle. And that's art, and I have to use my arms and stuff, and it hurts. And I know that I have to work my arms, but it's just not that easy. And that's one thing I wish some people understood, what, especially like when I hear doctor, I know we have to exercise, but sometimes it's not that easy. And I know I have to build my faith back up when it comes to all of that. Going for walks, making sure I can stretch, making sure I can do certain things so my body doesn't get even more stiff now that my muscles are stiff and I have a lot of pain. This is chronic pain, numbing and tingling, headaches, nausea, all of that. You know, it's it's a real struggle. So, you know, I just really have to remember the faith that I come from, the faith that I've built for myself, and to remember that I'm human. So, you know, being the strong boy isn't always easy. It can never be easy sometimes, and that's one thing I'm realizing is that humans, we're born with emotions. When we come out of our mother's wombs, we cry. That's an emotion. When we feel something, we either feel happy, we feel sad. That's an emotion. When we get diagnosed with an illness, what we feel, that's an emotion. you know so it can only be of our human nature. That's what emotions are. So in having that emotion is just a part of me now. you know I find, like I said, I find that I'm a lot more sensitive than I've ever been in my life. 22 years of living, and it's because of this illness. I didn't have that problem before that. So I, in closing, want to say this: losing my faith hasn't been easy. You know, it just hasn't. It's, and then like I get flustered a little bit with the words, because what is there to say when you lose your faith? That's what basically it is. It's like, what's there to say? What's there that someone, and it's a blessing that you have people who can lift you up. And it's a beautiful thing that I have church as well, my music, my writing, because losing touch with my faith, that's not something that I ever want to do. That's not something that I ever wanted to happen. But again, I keep saying it over and over and over: I'm human. It's gonna happen. But at some point, I'm gonna find that strength to build it back up, because it's just not easy. You know, I want I want everyone to know, who's ever listening, if you don't have MS and you know someone with MS or any chronic illness, lift them up. If you can send them a text message saying, I love you, stay strong, I'm here always, or, I love you, stay strong, or just I love you, or anything positive, do that, because that's going to make their world brighter. I guarantee it. Even when they lose faith, if they have social media and you see they're posting weird stuff, not, excuse me, forgive me for saying that, they're posting sad stuff, and you should text them, let them know, you know, I'm here, talk to me, FaceTime them, call them. We have all this technology. We have to use it, because it really can touch and reach people when, and you never know when you're going to need them. So it's just, excuse me, not need them in, I think you guys will understand what I mean, but, just being there for us and keeping us uplifted, and having you guys in our corner, especially when we need you all at this point in our lives. It's a great feeling. I was so glad when my friends were very supportive of me when I told them what was going on. But I told them when I was having symptoms and everything, and going to get to the doctors and neurologists and trying to figure out what's going on. They were there. And as I talked about, as I've spoken about before, I'm blessed that I have this Mariah Carey fan page, because when I got sick the other day, really, really bad, they were there flooding me with messages, and it was such an overwhelming with joy, and a beautiful feeling that they gave me, because they're like my second family. Excuse me, not second family. They are my family. You know, they are there for me. Telling me to stay strong, keep my head up. It's going to be all right. You know, sometimes you need to be reminded of that. It's going to be all right. You got this. You can make it through. You know, this ain't going to last forever. You know, though this disease will live with us, you know, but you have your faith. You know, my aunt, my loving aunt prayed for me over the phone today, and it meant so much to me. It meant the world to me because she's worried about me, and she doesn't want me to lose my faith, and I didn't tell her anything. She was like, I know you know this, Christopher, you know, but I just want, you know, and it felt good because she didn't have to do that and take her time to do that, and she did it over her work phone, you know. So that made me feel so good, and you know, and I saw a post today on Instagram. I can't remember what the post was, but it said something about don't try to it said something, but it touched me. I wish I could remember, but it really touched me. So in closing, I just want to say thank you guys for listening to me, and let's keep fighting. Keep fighting. My social media is at Young MS Warrior. As I always say, it's spelled Young is spelled regular, not slang. And my YouTube is the same, Young MS Warrior. This has been MS Champion Radio. I'm Chris Carter, the MS Champion, the MS Warrior. Let's do this. Let's fight.